Okay. Hey Andy, it's me, Will, and here's Steve. And
Hi, Andy.
we're going to give you a tour of all kinds of stuff. And Steve's going to start with the rod that does
The clutch actuation rod. And we have an issue with this pin. It is worn and it is also bent. So we will have to press that pin out and machine a new one and press it in. Also, we are going to take apart this spherical bearing and rebuild it to make sure that the clutch operates smoothly.
too much flop.
Yep, not too much play. So we'll get that fixed up for you, get that going. This is the incorrect coil for your car. It will cause all kinds of problems, so we are going to eliminate it, put the correct coil on.
That's yeah, stuff we need to clean
Hardware
up.
that needs to be cleaned up
Clean up
and
a plate. Yep.
replated and recleaned.
Got a bunch of stuff in here that we've already plated. This is drive line and bumper attaching nuts.
And that's what is all this?
That's rear brakes.
Brake stuff.
Yep,
Yeah.
so we're good there.
And I think we've gone over this. This is the differential carrier mount with the new bushing in it. We've all done.
Need a
We
bushing.
have, yeah, we have the gear, the differential all back together, operating nice and smoothly. The center section is all completely assembled. We have the left axle tube on and the left hub and all is assembled. We haven't assembled the right side yet because we haven't found a U-joint for the slip joint for the swing axle pivot. In the interim, we have gone ahead and dry assembled the swing axle pivot and found the correct bushings to set the proper end play for the swing axle, and it is somewhere between 4 thousandths and 0, which is perfectly in tolerance. So that's all set, and it will go together nicely once we get the U-joint section that fits into the differential here for the axle to connect to.
Now what our problem we're having here is the U-joint. It's a big U-joint inside here, just like on your drive shaft, and it clicked. It had a little slop in it, clicked a little bit, and we didn't like that. It's not up to our standards. Problem is they currently are unavailable, and Steve is going to get a used example that I had in inventory to show you what we're talking about.
Yeah, here's a broken one. This is what we're trying to replace, is this U-joint. This piece goes inside the differential here, and then the right side axle fits in this, and this is a sliding mechanism that allows the axle to slide in and out as the suspension moves up and down. And so we can't put this on until we can get this bolted into the differential itself. So once we find a U-joint, if we can find a U-joint, we'll get yours reconditioned and get it put in and get it finished.
And if we can't find one, we'll put it back in, and we're sure it'll probably be service okay, but it's not exactly what we like to do. But if we have no choice and the parts are not available, that's what's going to happen.
Let's see what's next.
Ready for
Gearbox.
Yeah.
The gearbox has been apart before. We know this because of the sealant around the front plate, the sealant on the top cover gasket,
Which is not necessary to seal for any reason.
and the sealant on the rear seal plate. It's kind of hard to see, but there's some coming up around the corners here. You can see some down in here between the aluminum and the steel, the cast iron. We have also noticed,
Got
if
a
I
switch.
come around on this side, yeah.
All right.
Your transmission has a substantial amount of end play. There should be 0 tolerance there between this piece and this piece. No movement at all.
Right.
And yours has easily 100 thousandths, which is very much incorrect.
And the way we're going to clear that is inside here. There's shims, factory shims are supposed to go in there and support the bearing and keep that shaft from moving.
We're going to have to pull this cover off because there is a seal inside here that seals the input shaft that we'll need to be replacing. Also, there is a pivot right here that the clutch fork pivots on. It's like a big steel ball, like a hip joint ball that's missing. We need to press it in.
New seal in the back.
Yeah, we'll take the flange off and replace the seal back here and make sure that the Speedo drive is all in good shape.
Yeah, because it gets a seal as well, and then we'll replace that inside there.
But we think the synchros and the gear wear all looks pretty good. So once we get it flushed out and cleaned out, get the years accumulation of buildup out of it, I think that, and get it shimmed correctly, I think it'll be a pretty good gearbox.
Yeah. What we look for is, in terms of wear, is the spacing between the synchronizer ring right here and this spacing right in here is a set distance or minimum distance.
Also, you look at on these synchronizing rings, you also look, you can see they kind of look like a home plate with a little point on it, and you look at the condition of the little points to see if they're still pointy or if they're flat, to know whether they're still in good shape for lining up and synchronizing correctly.
So that's looking at these square teeth, and they look
on the brass part there, or the bronze part.
Yeah.
Also, on your shift forks, there's negligible wear here, which is good. It means that people haven't habitually been using the shift lever as an armrest, and that the shift mechanism itself is in good shape. So that's nice to see. We have bell housing, needs to be cleaned up. We'll clean all this up, give it a fresh coat of paint. We have all the emergency brake cables and all its hardware apart, and it'll all get cleaned up and
That's right.
glass beaded and repainted as we can to put on the new axle.
Yeah, there's your cable. It's perfectly functional. It may not look like Concours, but we'll make it look pretty and then save you some money there. And by the way, there's a 29 Rolls Royce. If you know anybody that needs one desperately, I have one to sell desperately. There's a 230 SL transmission we did. And all right, anything else? I think we're running out of YouTube time.
I think that's good.
Thanks. Have a good one.